It was the evening of January 10, 2025. The Wu household in Palmer Township, Pennsylvania, was quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you think everything is okay. But inside, something was stirring. Enci had been acting distant. Her parents noticed. Maybe it was just teenage mood swings. Maybe it was something more. They didn't know it yet, but they were about to wake up to their worst nightmare. The next morning, Enci was gone. Her bedroom window was open. The cold air rushed in, but she wasn't there to feel it. The blankets on her bed were still neatly tucked, as if she hadn't slept at all. Her phone? Left behind. Wallet? Still there. She had walked away with nothing. No calls. No messages. No signs of where she went. At first, her parents thought, maybe she went to a friend's house. Maybe she needed some space. But hours passed. Then a whole day. Then two. And there was still no sign of her. And then, a flicker of hope. A blurry surveillance image from a Wawa convenience store in Whitehall Township, New Jersey. A girl wearing dark clothes walking alone. It looked like Enci. But the image was grainy. Was it really her? Was she alone? The questions started piling up. Why would she leave in the middle of the night? Who was she talking to before she disappeared? And the most terrifying question of all, was someone waiting for her? Her parents searched her room again, this time looking for anything that could tell them where she went. And then they found it. A notebook, hidden beneath her mattress. Inside, pages filled with scribbled messages. Some of them made sense. Plans, thoughts, things a teenager might write down. But others? Strange, unsettling notes. Words that didn't quite add up. Names they didn't recognize. One sentence written over and over again, "I have to go before it's too late." What did that mean? Too late for what? Then came the first phone call. A voice on the other end. Someone claiming they knew where Enci was. But before they could say more, the line went dead. Was it a prank? Or was it a warning? And just like that, the silence returned. Days turned into weeks. The police searched. Flyers went up. Calls were made. But Enci was nowhere to be found. And somewhere out there, the truth was waiting. Hidden in the shadows. Welcome to True Crime Stories videos. I welcome you, my viewers, and most especially my subscribers, for your support as we keep improving and bringing you daily told and untold true crime stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. The search for Enci Wu had only just begun, but the deeper her parents looked, the more unsettling the truth became. At first they clung to hope. Maybe she was with a friend. Maybe she just needed time. But as the days stretched on with no sign of her, the questions grew louder. Where did she go? Who was she with? And why hadn't she called? Then the focus shifted to her digital life. Enci's phone had been left behind. A strange thing for a teenager. Most kids her age wouldn't go anywhere without it. But as investigators dug into her online activity, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. She had been talking to people. Strangers. Late at night, long after her parents had gone to bed, Enci had been sending messages. Some were harmless, just regular chats. But others? They were different. Hidden in private messages, encrypted apps, and deleted conversations, there were signs of something more. Her parents scrolled through the texts with trembling hands. Some were casual, friendly. Others were more intense. Someone asking where she was when she could meet if she was alone. One message stood out. Just a few words. "Do you trust me?" A simple question. But coming from someone her parents didn't know, it sent chills down their spines. Then another message. "I can take you somewhere safe." Safe from what? Safe from who? Her parents felt sick. Had someone been trying to lure her away? They looked deeper. Enci had been active on forums they had never heard of, chatting with usernames that meant nothing to them. Some accounts were new, with no profile pictures, no real names, just faceless voices whispering from the other side of the screen. And then they found something worse. She had been deleting messages. Not just a few, but entire conversations. Long chains of texts wiped clean. The realization hit hard. She hadn't just disappeared. She had been planning something. But was she leaving to find someone she trusted? Or was she running from something she feared? Then came the moment that made their blood run cold. A notification. One they had missed before. A final message sent just hours before she vanished. "Don't tell anyone. Just come." No name. No details. Just those 5 words. The same questions haunted them over and over again. Who was waiting for her? Where did they take her? And the worst question of all, was she still out there? Or had she walked straight into danger? As the investigation continued, one thing became clear. Someone had been watching Enci. Talking to her. Pulling her into a world her parents never saw coming. And now she was gone. It was quiet that night. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you think everything is normal. The kind of quiet that hides the truth. Inside the Wu family home, nothing seemed out of place. Her parents were asleep. The lights were off. The world outside was still. But somewhere in that house, a 14-year-old girl was making a decision that would change everything. Enci wasn't in bed. Her blankets were undisturbed, her pillow untouched. It was as if she had never laid down at all. But the real clue wasn't in her room. It was in the bathroom. The window. Slightly open. Just enough for a small figure to slip through. It didn't make sense at first. Why the bathroom? Why not the front door? But then came the realization she didn't want to be heard. She didn't want anyone to know she was leaving. She had planned this. Her parents stood there, staring at the open window, feeling a kind of fear no parent should ever have to feel. Did she climb out on her own? Or did someone ask her to? Outside, the ground was still wet from an earlier rain. And there, just beneath the window, were footprints. Small, light, hurried. She landed here. Then what? Did she run? Was she scared? Or was someone waiting? That was the thought that kept them up at night. The thought that sent chills down their spines. Because if someone had been standing there, in the darkness, waiting just beyond the edge of the light, then this wasn't just a girl running away. This was something else. Something worse. They checked the security cameras. Nothing. The footage was too dark, too grainy. But one thing was clear. At some point during the night, Enci left through that window, and never came back. Her parents asked themselves over and over again. Was she running toward someone? Or was she running away from something? Because if she had been afraid, if something had happened that made her feel like she had no choice but to leave, then that meant she had been keeping a terrible secret. And if someone had been waiting for her, then she might not have been running at all. She might have been taken. The truth was somewhere out there, hidden in the silence of that night. But time was slipping away. And with each passing hour, Enci's footprints in the mud faded a little more. A single frame. Blurry. Grainy. A girl walking into a Wawa convenience store. The police paused the footage. Studied it. Enlarged the image. The resolution was terrible, but there was something about the way she moved. The way she held her arms close to her body. The way she looked over her shoulder just for a second. It looked like Enci. Her parents held their breath. They leaned in, searching for any clue, her jacket, her posture, her face. But the video was too unclear. It was her, wasn't it? The timestamp, 1:37 a.m. 3 hours after she climbed out of the bathroom window. That meant she had made it here. Whitehall Township, New Jersey. Almost 20 miles from home. But how? Did she walk? Impossible. It was cold and she had left with nothing. No phone. No money. Did someone drive her? The footage rolled forward. She moved toward the cold drink section. Opened a fridge. Took out a bottle of water. But something was off. She wasn't relaxed. She wasn't browsing like a normal teenager. She was looking around. Nervous. Like she was searching for someone. Or making sure she wasn't being followed. Then, in the reflection of the fridge door, something barely visible. A figure. Standing near the entrance. Still. Watching. Who was it? The camera angle made it impossible to tell. But whoever it was, they never stepped inside. Then, another moment. She walked to the register. Placed the bottle down. And then she hesitated. Her hands reached into her pockets. But she had nothing. No money. No phone. No way to pay. The cashier said something. Enci didn't respond right away. She glanced, once quickly, toward the door. The figure was still there. Then, she turned. Walked out. Left the bottle behind. The doors slid open. And just like that, she was gone. The video ended. No license plates. No clear view of the person standing outside. No way of knowing what happened next. But the question still hung in the air. Did she go there alone? Or was someone waiting for her? If someone picked her up, where did they take her? And if no one was there, then why did she walk out, like she knew exactly where she was going? The longer Enci stayed missing, the darker the possibilities became. At first, people wanted to believe she had run away. That she would come back when she was ready. But as investigators dug deeper, another fear took hold. A fear no parent ever wants to face. Had she been taken? Experts looked at the details. A young girl traveling alone. No money. No phone. Moving through the night from one place to another. It fit a pattern they had seen before. A pattern that never ended well. The way she had left, through the bathroom window as if she couldn't risk using the door. The way she had moved at the Wawa hesitant, glancing over her shoulder. The way she had disappeared just like that. It raised questions no one wanted to answer. Because if she hadn't left by choice, then someone had been watching her. And if someone had been watching her, then this wasn't just a missing person case. This was something far worse. Her parents clung to hope. But investigators had seen cases like this before. They thought of the other girls. The ones who had vanished under similar circumstances. A 15-year-old in Philadelphia. Last seen leaving a bus stop. Gone without a trace. A 13-year-old in New Jersey. Met someone online. Left home in the middle of the night. Never seen again. Each case started the same way. A normal day. A normal life. Then a message. A meeting. A promise of something better. Someone on the other end of the screen saying all the right things. Making them feel seen. Making them feel safe. Until it was too late. That was the fear. That Enci had met someone who made her believe she was in control. Someone who had been patient, careful, waiting for just the right moment. Because that's how they operate. Traffickers don't grab people off the streets. They don't need to. They wait. They build trust. They make their victims think leaving is their own idea. And by the time they realize the truth, it's already too late. Enci's family refused to believe it. Not their daughter. Not their girl. But the signs were there. The digital trail. The secret messages. The escape in the middle of the night. And the worst part? If this was trafficking, then every second mattered. Because the longer she was gone, the harder she would be to find. The living room felt empty. The couch where Enci used to sit. The table where she did her homework. The photos on the walls, frozen moments of a family that was whole. But now, every second stretched unbearably long. Every ring of the phone sent a jolt through their hearts. Every knock at the door made them hold their breath. Hoping. Dreading. And then, the cameras. A press conference. Her parents sat side by side, holding hands. Their faces were pale, their eyes swollen. They had barely slept. Barely eaten. Every word was a struggle, but they had no choice. They had to beg. A mother's voice cracked as she spoke. Please, if you see her, if you know where she is, just bring her home. A father gripping the microphone, his hands trembling. She's only 14. She's just a kid. If you're out there and see, we love you. We are not mad. We just want you safe. Silence. A pause too heavy to fill. And then the announcement. A $7,000 reward. For any credible tip. Any lead that could bring her back. Money wasn't the issue. They would have given everything. Emptied their bank accounts. Sold their home if they had to. But would it be enough? Would someone step forward? At first the calls poured in. People thought they saw her, at a gas station, on a train, walking along a highway. Investigators followed every lead. Checked every security camera. But one by one the sightings fell apart. Wrong girl. Bad angle. Misinformation. And with every dead end the fear grew deeper. Because someone out there knew something. Someone had seen her. Talked to her. Maybe even helped her. But no one was coming forward. What? Were they scared? Were they hiding something? Or was the truth so terrifying that no one wanted to be the one to say it? The days stretched on. The posters went up. The news reports continued. But Enci's seat at the dinner table stayed empty. And in the quiet of the night, her parents sat awake, staring at the phone, waiting for it to ring. Hoping that the next call wouldn't be the one they feared most. The calls kept coming. I saw her at a gas station in Pennsylvania. She was at a bus stop in New York. She was walking alone near a shopping mall. Every tip felt like a lifeline. Every call a chance to bring Enci home. But hope faded fast. Surveillance footage reviewed. Wrong girl. Witnesses questioned. Wrong time. Rumors spread. Wrong story. One report claimed she was seen in a diner, sitting by the window looking lost. The waitress swore it was her. Same dark hair, same worried eyes. Police rushed to the scene. Checked the cameras. But the girl had already left. And when they finally found the footage, it wasn't Enci. Another girl. Another family story. The pattern repeated. Again. And again. Each new lead led to a dead end. Each sighting just a shadow. And the worst part? The more time passed, the harder it became to know what was real. Had someone actually seen her? Or were people just seeing what they wanted to see? And then, the strangest call yet. A woman in Philadelphia. Middle of the night. She swore she saw a girl matching Enci's description get into a dark-colored SUV. The girl hesitated before stepping inside. The driver? A man. Late 30s. Light jacket. No defining features. Police asked for more details. The woman hesitated. Then she admitted the truth. She wasn't sure. Maybe the girl looked like Enci. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she wanted to believe it was her. The SUV was gone. The driver, unknown. The girl? A mystery. And just like that, another lead vanished. The clock kept ticking. With every false sighting, every wasted hour, one question burned deeper. If Enci was still out there, why hadn't she been found? Unless someone didn't want her to be. Days turned into weeks. The posters were everywhere. Gas stations, grocery stores, train stations. Her face on the news. Her name on people's lips. But no Enci. And then a shift. The FBI was stepping in. Her case was now in the hands of federal agents. Specialists trained to track the missing, to find the ones who vanished without a trace. Her name was officially entered into the National Crime Information Center database. A system built for cases like this. A system designed to flag her name if she turned up anywhere, at a hospital, a shelter, a border crossing. But for now, nothing. The agents spoke carefully. Every word measured. They had handled cases like this before. Some ended with reunions. Some didn't. And in the digital age, finding a missing teen was harder than ever. Because technology, the very thing that could have saved her, could also be what made her disappear. Encrypted messages. Untraceable apps. Fake profiles. If someone had taken her, they knew how to cover their tracks. They searched her online history. Followed every clue. Looked for any sign of a hidden plan. A secret conversation. A promise that had pulled her away from home. But there were no easy answers. Only questions. Had she willingly gone with someone? Had she been forced? Was she still in the country? Or had she been moved somewhere no one would ever think to look? The agents didn't say it out loud. But the silence said enough. They knew what they were up against. And the longer Enci was missing, the harder it would be to bring her back. There are more questions than answers. And the worst part? Every possibility is more terrifying than the last. She met someone she trusted, and they betrayed her. Maybe it started online. A friendship. A connection. Someone who made her feel understood, listened to. Someone who promised her something. Freedom, adventure, a fresh start. But what if it was all a lie? What if the person she trusted wasn't who they said they were? What if, the moment she climbed through that bathroom window, she wasn't running towards safety, but straight into danger? She was taken. Moved. Hidden. Across state lines. Or maybe even out of the country. The FBI had seen it before. Cases where missing teens were transported miles away before anyone even realized they were gone. But if that was true, then someone had planned this. Someone had been waiting. Watching. And the thought of that, of a stranger knowing exactly when and how she would leave, was too much to bear. She never meant to leave at all. What if she was planning to come back? A late-night walk to clear her head. A secret meeting that went wrong. What if the moment she stepped outside, something happened? Something no one saw. Something no one was prepared for. Because the truth is, people don't just disappear. Someone somewhere knows where she is. And the scariest thought of all? What if that person doesn't want her to be found? Every second counts. And she has been missing for too long. And the longer she's gone, the harder it becomes to bring her home. The truth is, time is not on our side. Where is she right now? Is she safe? Does she even know people are looking for her? Or worse, is she waiting for someone to find her? Authorities are working. Her family is searching. Strangers, people who have never met her, are sharing her name, her face, her story. But it's not enough. Because someone somewhere knows something. Maybe they saw her that night. Maybe they heard something. Maybe they think what they know isn't important. But it could be the key. The missing piece. The one thing that brings her home. And this is where you come in. If you see something, say something. If you hear something, report it. If you know something, don't wait. Because this isn't just a story. This isn't just another case. This is a 14-year-old girl. A daughter. A friend. A life that was here one moment, and gone the next. And somewhere out there, someone knows the truth. Is it you? Enci Aubrey Wu is still missing. A 14-year-old girl, gone without a trace. Somewhere out there she could be watching this. Somewhere out there someone knows where she is. And somewhere, a family is waiting. Praying. Hoping for the call that changes everything. Now it's your turn to help. If you have seen Enci, if you know anything, no matter how small, please speak up. Her family needs answers. The investigators need leads. Most importantly, Enci needs to come home. And even if you don't have information, you can still make a difference. Share this video. Keep her story alive. Because the more people who see her face, the harder it becomes for her to stay missing. As we close, look at these pictures. Look at her smile. Her eyes. The life that was suddenly ripped away. They just want their daughter back. And tonight, she's still out there. Let's bring Enci home.